Hey guys, we'll get started in just a moment here. AR, why don't you try talking?
Okay, I'm talking. I got someone else bugging me on Discord at the same time, so it's my wires are crossed right now.
Dev, why don't you try talking?
I'm working 8 days in a row and I'm so exhausted. I am cinnamon French toasted.
Hooray for work.
Ooh-hoo.
You guys ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Heckin'.
I'm currently coughing off stream, so just give me a moment. AR, distract them.
Oh, I was about to cough too, actually. I was gonna seize the opportunity, passing it off again.
Yeah, I'm back. Okay.
I mean, I also muted my mic so I could cough.
Yeah, I will say that is the one oddity of doing the show live. Very rarely do I will be coughing constantly right before the show goes live, and then completely perfectly until the moment the show ends, and then I will get sick. So, everyone done coughing?
I think so.
Okay.
Probably.
For now.
Welcome to the podcast. We're here to entertain and inform a bit while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark, I run with the Will.
I'm Eric Oliver, Digimon System Restore.
WtW, and I work on Wikimon.
And AR decided to not think up a smart reply this time.
Nah. It's gonna be a busy week. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna strain myself on this one.
Yeah. AR knows exactly how much stuff I'm doing this week, and it is death-defying how much stuff is being worked on in secret. Wink, wink.
I mean, I have another post to make, another review to write up and post on Thursday, so that automatically adds to my schedule. And it's a movie, so it's probably going to end up being a little longer. So I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah, I have many things to do, things that I probably should be doing now, but makes more sense to do the podcast. So we will see what happens and when. Dev, how is your week going?
I am dead. I'm just.
Well, I'm glad you're able to
dead.
I'm glad you're able to drag your corpse over to join us, especially since one of the questions involves you.
Hooray!
Wait, yeah, I scrolled down to make sure I actually put that question there because.
Hooray with a question mark.
For a moment, I went, wait, did I decide to hold that for next time? Nope, it is there. Episode 17, wee!
Heckin'.
AR never likes the action-y episodes.
It's not that I don't
love the action-y episodes.
It's
Shit
not that I
blows up.
didn't. It's not that I didn't like it. It's that there's not really a whole lot to talk about.
See,
this was pretty straightforward.
It is straightforward, but I think it also works where you get the action at the beginning and end, and in the middle a little bit of retrospection. Not a lot.
Definitely not a lot. This was the shallowest retrospection you can get.
No, see, I like the minimal type in the sense of it does remind you, oh, all that stuff they've done does have a point, even if they're not deeply going over it like they might have in, say, Try.
Nah,
it's nice to get some mention.
That just felt like, okay, we're gonna eat 2 minutes here. It works for what they were doing in the episode. Like, it needed that low. You needed that sort of moment in that episode to kind of take a breather from everything before and after it. So it works in that regard. It just didn't strike me as all that interesting.
And Mimi complains that Palmon isn't pretty.
As she does.
Gasp.
Yeah. I will say, I like that it does point out that, yes, that is Aizmon who evolved into Orochimon, because I was unaware how many people weren't sure of that. I know it came up in the last episode, but a lot of people seemed surprised that it was.
I thought it just came up out of nowhere?
I guess so. I thought the episode showed it that it was Aizmon pretty clearly, but I guess a lot of people missed the little dark thing in the front when they did that shot.
Yeah, it was angled weird.
Yeah,
it was in the foreground and then it was in the background. It's a weird, it's like camera logic stuff that didn't quite carry over very well.
Yeah. The action was good, although I will say this, it feels like it was an action episode, but I'm not sure how much action was actually in it, which is kind of weird.
It wasn't that it was a big action episode. It was kind of like an RPG fight where you face a boss you would never face before. They come out with a strategy you're not prepared for. It kicks your ass. You reload the game, kind of know what you're doing now, and then beat it.
Yeah.
That reminds me of my days playing Ragnarok online because it was on a private server. So they basically loaded every boss in the game onto one floor. And occasionally you would walk into horrifying death and just get completely demolished, and you're all like running away and huddling in a corner like, holy crap, what the hell was that?
Yeah. But then you kind of go, okay, you kind of figure out the gimmick and the strategy and go, okay, let's do it right this time.
And the show remembered that Hikari and Takeru exist.
I mean, they were selling enough merch of them, so I assume they knew they were there.
Yeah.
It's like, here's a reminder that these characters are here, and also buy more merch.
Yeah, it's those kids from the keychains.
Hey, keychains and badges.
And acrylics.
Oh, and the macaroons. We can't forget the macaroons.
They're on the cards, too. Don't forget the cards.
Oh, true. Does Takeru have 2 cards at this point, or it's just the one in the parallel? For some reason, I think he has 2, and I don't know why. But yeah, it's weird because like stuff does happen this episode, but it's not stuff that's easy to discuss because there is a lot of battling, or there is a lot of longer shots.
Yeah, it's all set up for the next episode. Yeah. Like, it's just basically like, here's where Takeru and Hikari are. Yeah. Here's what they see. This is going to be important next time.
Yeah. Takeru.
I also like how they kind of like put in that, like, yes, it's definitely Aizmon / Orochimon affecting the real world.
Yeah, I liked Koshiro's explanation of what was going on, even as much as technically speaking, it is him theorizing.
Yeah, that he was way too confident about that for me. Like, that just came across as a plot dump. It was information that he should not be.
It was, but it was at least more interesting than it would have been where it's just a digital town meant as a trap. I like the explanation being that it's almost all superfluous and just happens to be happening.
The fact that it's all important is good. The delivery of it to make sure that we're on the same page was
no. I don't mean the data being superfluous. I mean that the stuff that happened was not necessarily on purpose, at least from Aizmon. Like, as far as I can tell, him causing trouble in Tokyo is just from him eating the data. Or the other Tokyo being created is based on that data, but not seemingly something he's actually doing on purpose. It's just a side effect.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't get the impression over whether that was an intentional thing or not, but I mean, if it's unintentional, that's kind of weak, actually.
See, I actually kind of like that it's just him eating and they just happen to wander in. Because that is what happened. They just walked through the cave and happened to end up in quote-unquote Tokyo.
Right, but at the same time that if Aizmon hadn't been eating all that stuff, none of the kids would have been all that interested in going to the digital world to save it. Like, they're primarily there to stop Aizmon. Everything else is like just kind of side questy to that.
Oh, I'm not saying Aizmon's doing it on purpose. It is being done on purpose. I'm just saying that Aizmon specifically is just doing what he's doing, and then when they showed up, he went nuts. And that is sort of what Koshiro says.
Aizmon was just right in front of my salad.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm following what you're trying to get across, but I don't think it matters all that much.
Aizmon is eating data to get stronger. The fake Tokyo being created and it causing issues in Tokyo is not Aizmon doing that stuff on purpose. It's side effects of him trying to get stronger, even if he is evil, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, which is the issue, because the stuff that's happening in Tokyo is the most important problem. And if that's like, that really shouldn't be a side effect.
No, I'm saying it's a side effect from his perspective. He's been put there on purpose, I'm reasonably sure.
I certainly hope so, because they don't always put the pieces. They have the pieces in place that all seem to make sense, but they do come across as happy accidents more often than not. Like, we didn't get an explanation of how Team Sora ended up getting involved in this fake world. They really dropped the ball on that one.
I'm not bothered by that for one reason. What is the explanation for how Team Taichi got sucked up into that? They just walked through a cave and happened to end up there. It was happenstance.
All headed in the same direction.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's where they were heading. That they happened to meet up there.
No, that was a side trip. Like, they were going one way, and then they saw the spooky cave, and like, let's go this way.
But it's still the general direction they're going, is what I'm saying.
It wasn't really. So, yeah, I'm
not bothered by that at all, to be honest.
Well, during that down, it's going to be a whatever in the end, but yeah, that was one where it's like, they really could have said, so how did you guys get in here?
But that's the thing, it was through the cave. They're not necessarily in... I don't think they're in a cave now, are they?
No.
Yeah, it's just that area of the digital world looks like fake Tokyo.
Mm-hmm. But it's a question. But again, it's a question of whether did Team Sora pursue this and
See, I think they just showed up there.
Go down the dark cave themselves and end up in there, or was it the bad guys pulling them in there? Which
I don't think it needs that. I don't think it needs that much explanation when there wasn't even that much explanation for Taichi and them showing up there.
Yeah, but it's a pretty crucial plot turn, so it does seem that a little more. I'm just trying to get a sense of what the bad guys are trying to pull up to do with all this.
Might have more context.
How does them ending up in the fake world? How does this ending up in the fake world fit into Devimon's plan?
Yeah, hopefully we'll get an idea there, especially since he's in the episode preview, looking all menacing from behind as he has been.
The kids might not have been meant to be there, because Devimon's been having minions try to kill them since they first got there.
Yeah, which is very possible. And I'm saying, like, is this an accident that Devimon wasn't prepared for, or did he lure them all in there on purpose? Knowing how Team Sora got there kind of helps us steer one way or another on that.
Probably find out next week.
No,
that's the weird thing is we actually could. I don't expect to, but we could. And Hikari has been mysteriously separated from her mom, so now we have both Takeru and Hikari alone.
That's not mysterious. She got caught in a stampede.
That's why I said it. That's why I said it with a slight twang to my voice, and slightly smartassy. But yeah,
that again, like that's just Takeru and Hikari just like
got stembed.
Okay. Also, I can't be the only person to notice this. Did it feel like they were... Takeru as a kid was always drawn very short. It felt like it might have been slightly perspective overboard this time.
It looks like he's maybe like 1.5 feet tall. He has the proportions of those Mario Brothers.
The perspective of him like walking around did not seem quite right to me in the apartment.
Maybe it's just a really big apartment. Like, all the furniture is just supersized. That wall of that railing overlooking everything, that has to be tall. There's a child inside. You don't want him toppling over.
Oh man, and
depends on if you're the one paying child support or not.
Oh, to be fair,
dark.
that's dark. And then we got to see...
all part of Hiroaki's grand scheme.
And then how happy did everyone seem to see Giga Destroyer? Holding that back really did work to make it cool to show up.
I do not concern myself with such things. I didn't actually know that was a... Yeah, is that supposed to be a big deal? Like, I think it's neat to see, and they did it with a few of them where they were using more classic styled attacks that in prior episodes they hadn't. So Metal Greymon hadn't used Giga Destroy; he'd been using the new cannon attack. Lilymon used the more cannon-y laser shot version of her cannon rather than the
sort of minigun type one we saw before. It was just neat to see them.
It's good variety.
I'll take your word for it.
And that's why we have AR here, his depth of paying attention and caring.
It's about paying attention to stuff besides the various Digimon attacks they use. I honestly don't care about that stuff.
I like watching things blow up.
Yeah, like how does it feed the plot? That's the important thing.
I mean,
no, you're not going to get me to argue that Metal Greymon holding an attack back.
No, I was
moment when he had random monster of the week.
I was more thinking of the first huge chunk of Tamers, which is just kind of boring, and everyone sort of forgets it exists when they talk about the show.
Certain episodes, perhaps.
Many of those episodes, perhaps, to the point that it's one of the few times we have on record a staff member of the show saying they were told to change it.
Well, either way,
they were told.
I will also point out that if they were saving Giga Destroyer for this moment, they were saving it for a random monster of the week that ultimately doesn't matter in the long run. Orochimon is not important.
He's important in context because he's Aizmon, who is important in context.
Yeah, keep him as Aizmon then. It is kind of weird that it go from Aizmon, cool new design, to Orochimon thing we've seen 50 times before.
Because I don't think
Orochi is important in Japanese mythology and everything. So.
I think it was more. I think it was
a good villain. It was a good villain for what they were trying to do with the battle.
I think it worked. Yeah, I think it was more a case of they started it with a new Digimon, and they're going to end it with a menacing new one also. Having the middle one also being a new menacing one might not have worked well, so they just found one that would work.
Nobody cares about the perfects. It's all either the adults or the ultimates.
Yeah. So do we have anything else to say about this one, really?
I like how Gurumon just picked up the kids and just
that was
booked
neat.
It with them.
To be fair, Taichi was running with Agumon. I think AR died.
No, I just didn't have anything to add to that.
Yeah.
He doesn't love us anymore.
So next time we get Countdown to Tokyo's Annihilation. I will say, the countdown's very menacing. I wonder if it would have been better had they not done a countdown already.
Yeah, because after Algamon and everything, it's just okay, here it is again.
Yeah. That's my
doesn't love another good countdown.
Oh no, I absolutely do, but it would have been far more impactful had we not seen it already. But I do love a good countdown.
In a lesser way, same thing with the EMP. I'm kind of torn on the using an EMP again.
What you're saying is saving things for a moment like this adds to their impactfulness?
I just wouldn't have used it. I think it worked better the first time. I wouldn't have used it this time.
And
the countdown timer, I don't know what exactly that specifies. So.
And yet you downplayed Giga Destroyer. Shame.
No, you didn't hear what I said, but okay.
Shame.
I heard what you said. I just chose to go with shame.
Shame.
You heard what I said and ignored it. I said that they used it the first time. That's okay. Be done. You can use Giga Destroyer every episode. I don't care.
No, that's my point. Actually seeing it and having it not be used the 5 or 6 other times the other attack did instead made it more impactful to see it this time, is what I'm saying.
I'll take your word for it.
AR's demanding more countdowns and more EMPs.
God.
I want a railgun.
Yeah, I don't trust you with any sort of weaponry, DevQ. No offense.
I mean, that's entirely fair. Fun fact for my graphic design class, our teachers had us, get X-Acto knives, and I went to go unpackage mine, and she stopped and looked at me and said, "For some reason, I don't trust you with that."
DevQ, I consider you a close friend, but that's quite accurate, I would say.
To be fair, I accidentally drew blood like in the first 3 minutes.
Moving on from the show and
right.
Moving on from the show and DevQ injuring herself, we have card game news and quite a bit. So we got a number of updates for Booster Set 3. We finally have a look at the actual box, and surprise, surprise, it's exactly what every other set did, which the art's nice, but no huge surprise there. And then we got promotional images of the event cards, which it's less exciting to get these kind of promotional images when we already got images of the cards officially. A rare time when actually getting a promotional sheet gave us it gave us one bit of information, but most of it, no. The one bit of information it did was a second Tamer Battle Pack's coming, which isn't that shocking, but that'll show up in October, and at least one of the cards will be the Weregarurumon art, just not hollow. And then we started getting card previews, which before those, we're getting more new sleeves, and then we have the card previews to talk about, which the first one we got was Belial Vamdamon. Oh wait, that was last week, wasn't it? There's so many card previews, I'm getting them mixed up.
I think it's Angemon
and Valkyremon. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what it was. So Angemon's a new color, which seemed to upset people, which was a bit odd. I guess they don't like him being blue. And Valkyremon looks really nice. Just one of those where the artwork works well. It has a nice visual to it, and they're using... The one weird thing to keep saying about these is they keep using light in an interesting way, these cards. So then after that, we got Metal Mamamon, Metal Greymon, and Ragnalordmon. Ragnalordmon, we already saw the art, we already saw the card, but it looked much better here. And I like how it keeps the profile a bit where he's not actually touching the sword or shield. I don't know why I like that, I just do. And then new cards for Metal Mamamon and the virus version of Metal Greymon. And those two cards have an interesting Easter egg. Did you guys see what it was?
It totally looks like the Digimon World opening.
Yep. The artwork for both of them is basically that scene from the CGI opening of the game, which is a neat little touch. And then we got probably the cutest art so far from Booster Set 3, Vmon and XVmon. The Vmon doing the air V headbutt, it's just such a great visual. The art's nice.
The background's really nice too.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, if you look at the XVmon art, I believe it's above where he is as Vmon. Like, I believe it's the same place.
Oh.
Yeah, because the cliffs have that same figure.
Jumping to the top of the canyon and evolving.
So I'm curious to get the clean art of, say, Pale Dramon to see if it ends up being there when we see clean art, or if anyone else is in that area, because he's clearly fighting something that we can't see. So we'll find out. And then we got our first details for Booster Set 4. So it is called Great Legend, and it will be a Greymon-focused set.
Well, good thing they have enough, I'm not sure they have enough Greymons to do that.
So we get a new War Greymon card, we get a new Shine Greymon card, and we get a Victory Greymon card. So we get 2 War Greymon cards. It's hard not to laugh because, as obvious as a set this is, it does come across a bit like parody. Like, I'm really curious to see what the set actually is.
This set should just be called Victory Greymon's Secret.
We'll see. But yeah, so that's in December. And we'll see what else pops up, because there's no art. The last few times we got the sales sheet, we got darkened new art. This time it's just stand-in, so we'll see. And the Monochrome tournament finale happened. I've not watched yet, so Green versus Red. I won't say who won because I do know, but I'm told it's a very good episode, so it's worth watching. And that's sort of it for card game news, but not quite. Bandai started doing another streaming Digimon series, Digimon Classroom. AR, what do you think of it?
Pretty cute.
What do you think of an introduction / promotional series to teach Digimon stuff to fans?
Sure. That seems like a sensible thing if you're trying to if you actually are trying to introduce this to new people.
Yeah, so the first one was, what is a Digimon? The second was, what is evolution? What is the evolution of Digimon? Plus, they showed off the bath salts and the AR function of the bath salt Digivices. And episode 3 was a basic introduction to the card game, and they tried to steal the giant Patamon plush he kept on the teacher's desk.
I don't blame them.
No, not really, but yeah. So we'll see how... I'm glad they slowed down, because doing 3 in 3 days was a bit much. Because you do want to spread these out for new fans, because I can't imagine older fans are getting much of anything out of these, to be honest. Because it is like the introduction stuff.
Well, good. Like, they should be doing more for
they absolutely
new
should.
fans.
Yeah.
Like, you do wonder about that sometimes with the with everything that the way they've been promoting things. You wonder how they're doing with outreach.
Lately, there has been a lot of stuff for kids, though. So it's just interesting to see more of it, especially now that we're getting into more promotional type stuff, which does help.
Yeah.
And then
I still want the glow-in-the-dark pajamas.
And then definitely
they're not my size.
And then we have we have the results for the perfect Digimon you want to fight together with. This one is both 100% obvious with a handful of interesting choices. So Metal Greymon at the top, not shocking. People seemed a bit shocked that Angelmon would be number 2, but she's always been relatively popular.
No, I think I said that last time that Angelmon would be up there.
Yeah, I think you even said she could even be the type of one to steal first place.
She was one of the few that I thought had a chance.
Yeah. Paledramon was one that I thought had a possibility to steal first place, and ditto for Holy Angemon.
Yeah.
Then we have Arrow V-Dramon, which showing just like how much V-Tamer really does like just make some of these oddities when it's small enough that fan votes matter in this sort of thing.
I do get the sense that there's this big V-Tamer and X-Evolution contingency of fans that are just like, we're going to vote for the one that represents this series.
Well, no, because in the case of V-Tamer, it's specifically it's been the main guy.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But also, it's a really good popular design to begin with, on top of being, like a main character. So it's like, it looks awesome, and it's an awesome character at the same time. So
then we get Weregrumon, number 6, Lilymon, Rise Greymon. Not shocking, because he does show up in vote stuff quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Antiramon. A lot of people seem surprised to see Antiramon.
I'm a little bit surprised it's that high up there. I would expect it, like, if it showed up, like, dragging a little near the 20.
Yeah. Then we get...
I think the Lotmon's forms have been doing okay in these, so it's not that shocking.
Then we get Doru Greymon. I always say that wrong. Then at a tie is the Virus Metal Greymon and Lucimon Fall Down Mode. Number 13 is Red Metal Greymon. Megalo Gromon. It's just... there's basically 4 Metal Greymons on this list. Number 14 is Garudamon.
There.
Number 15 is Rapidmon, which, as I recall, was who AR voted for.
Yes, that was my vote.
Yeah, I saw it at 15. I'm like, AR is going to be so happy that he actually did show up.
Hey. My Gaugamon showed up on the last one, so...
Yeah, but barely.
I'm okay on these. I'm showing up, but I'm not in the top 10, which is what I'm going for.
Then we have Megadramon, who's the only sort of... Some people might be surprised, but he does tend to pop up every once in a while.
Megadramon tends to be... Like, every time he shows up, it's just sort of cool.
Yeah. Then we get Mega Seedramon, which... Not super surprising to see him show up. And then
Betamon and Seedramon's ranked the last ones, so not surprised at all.
I'm always surprised at the Seedramon's popularity.
Yeah. And then then now this is supposed to be top 20, but number 18 was a 4-way tie, so it ends there.
That's fantastic.
I love that.
We get Cyberdramon, Vamdamon, Chimeramon, and Lady Devamon.
Well, Vande's going to be really happy about that. I mean, I voted for Vamdamon too, so yeah. I like how the last four is just like the asshole brigade.
The last four are all ones that you could have gone, okay, yeah, this one makes sense to be on the list. It's just funny that they're all there at the end.
Yep.
Not a huge surprise list, though, I'll say. Like,
I haven't seen any on there that I'd be surprised about.
Yeah.
But not like last time where it felt like things got kicked around a bit from what might be expected.
At the same time, at this sort of level, there's just a lot of Digimon to choose from. Like, we're not really surprised by anything at this top 20. At the same time, if someone like Ultra Kabuterimon had showed up, would anyone be surprised?
No.
So I think there's just a lot of options at this level that would be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then the new poll, how long have you been a Digimon fan?
How long has Digimon existed? God, I feel old.
Not quite that far. Okay. I would say it was squarely towards the end of Adventure, beginning of 02 when I jumped on. So
this is the first poll where I had to find a different image than what Lost used, because he had been picking, just finding a page of a Digimon that made sense and maybe looked a bit cool and tossed it. And this time, he pasted the poll page in. And I just went, I just don't know if that's going to work. And I just went, give me a minute. I know an image. I just have to see if I can scale it up nicely enough for it to work. And it's just Old Man GG Shoutmon.
Old Man GG Shoutmon. That's a perennial. The other alternative is like, do you have nostalgic memories of Bun?
Yeah, but the problem is when you see the GG Shoutmon, it makes sense. The moment we're talking, Bun almost doesn't. Especially since many people might go, what the hell is that? In this case...
That's your test.
Yeah, in this case, people might just go, oh, it's just an old Shoutmon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it will be interesting to see what pops up on this one. I expect a lot of very old and a number of new-ish.
I figure it'll be all over the place.
Yeah, I think it's going to be all over the place. Like, I think there's going to be a few people who just kind of latched on recently with the new show. Although maybe not, because they might not be necessarily tuning in and voting in polls and stuff. I don't know. I think this might skew pretty older, with maybe a few.
Yeah. Well, especially
maybe a few mid to late 2000 entry points.
See.
People who jumped in with like savers and stuff.
And then they put up the figures, the Kizuna figures, to pre-order Premium Bandai. It was very easy for me not to order these with other things that came up right before they went up, and also Premium Bandai USA not having the art boards.
That's sad.
I still kind of want them, but other things came up that spent money on, just went, definitely not getting those.
Yep, I had a car payment.
And then, speaking of Kizuna, we expect the digital release is officially tomorrow. We actually expect it up basically in the next few hours, possibly even an hour and a half to 2 hours. And when that goes up, make some sort of post, because it's hard to prep a post when you actually don't know what the release is going to be.
Yeah, they were kind of vague on the times.
Well, because they don't control the times. They're saying tomorrow because that's the date. What I more mean is, for example, I don't believe they've said if the DVD Blu-ray extras will be included digitally, or if they will, what stores. And even what we talked about a few weeks ago, which is, will it be one purchase for both, or will it be separate purchases for Japanese English? That's based on looking at prior releases they've done, but they don't necessarily control the release when Toei may want it done a different way, so we actually don't know. But my guess would be both languages, $20, one purchase. But that is, in fact, a guess, but we will see.
The wait is almost over, finally.
Almost over.
Almost over.
Almost.
You're so close.
And then they called it a preview of the watch party. I'm going to say it was a tech check.
Yeah.
Because it was like
check.
It was like 3 or 4 minutes, so I'm going to say it was less a preview and more, let's do this a week ahead of time to make sure it works. But it was nice, and it's nice that they actually left it up for people who wanted to check.
Like, is our stream going to crash and burn?
Although I will say, you would think they would, the little image they made for it, you would think they would include Joe and Manoa in it. Because it's the version of the art that's just Taichi, Yamato, Agumon, and Gabumon.
Oh.
Like, put a little Joe and Manoa in the back or whatever. And
they need the voice actors to know that they don't actually matter.
Yeah.
remind them who to actually play.
That came up in the previous stream. Robbie Damon actually going, he doesn't actually know what happens in the movie because of how little Joe shows up.
Right.
Yeah. Shout did begin to ship early, as they have for... See, the problem is, I don't know if DVD shipped early because generally everyone is ordering the Blu-ray. So we assume if you ordered the DVD, it shipped early, but people have begun to get those. It's closed at this point, but they were taking Q&A for the stream. And then the interesting one was Newsweek posting an interview with Yosuke Kinoshita, which was interesting. Nice. It was a nice, slightly fluffy interview, but was the one thing
it didn't have a whole lot of.
The one thing that was nice is it was spoiler free. So if someone wants to read it before seeing the movie, it's one. There's I don't believe there's anything spoiler related in it at all. So it's nice to be able to go, hey, if you want to see an interview, go ahead. So that will be soon. And then
I kind of browsed through it. I didn't see anything obviously spoilery, so it should be fine.
Yeah. So we'll be talking here more about Kizuna in a bit, but first, Cross Wars is getting its reference book content refresh, which is nice because they will all have levels, they will all have attributes, and I just realized I spelled attribute in that article. I should never open the articles while doing this because I always notice mistakes.
How dare you?
So at the
just like the Shoutmon Gumdramon art. That's just
that's great because it's that stereotypical Japanese. We're sorry about this necessary thing.
Sorry for the clutter.
And that should actually be in the next day or two.
Can't keep his eyes closed.
Yeah, the next day or two. Hopefully this means Cross War stuff will be showing up in the franchise at large a lot more because, well, one, it's never stopped it, except in the case of the games where, and I don't mean this in a mean way, Habu's always seemed very confused by the idea that you could just give them levels.
Yeah, like you had a couple in Hacker's Memory, and
because remember, he was asked about that for Next Order International Edition, and his response was, well, I wasn't a producer on the original game, so I wasn't around for that decision.
Yeah, well, with Next Order, that's a lot more. It's a lot more. The levels are a lot more significant in that game.
Yeah.
So,
but in general,
you can it's a lot easier to fudge in Hacker's Memory.
But in general, the rule has basically been, if someone wants to use them, they just give them a level. They've been showing up in VPETs lately, but it makes sense to use them more at large if everyone just has it as a fact.
Yeah, and this is just sort of encourages it more.
Yes,
it's like, yes, you can use these Digimon. It's now, okay. Don't let this be. Don't let this be a hindrance.
Now
a little more internal consistency.
Yeah.
Now my expectation is maybe not Booster 4, but maybe Booster 5 will be Cross Wars heavy. Now that they all will have the stuff that's expected for the card game without changing the rules of it.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
It feels like
you need to do something like that for the card game, I would imagine.
Well, here's the thing. You could always introduce a way to have non-level ones, but that adds complexity that maybe isn't a good idea.
Yeah, that's a full-on, expanded rules type of situation.
You mean like Hyper Coliseum?
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you want to go there quite yet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The one thing I will say is way too many people seem to think it's too complex to give them levels because of the crosses. I don't think it's that hard.
I mean, it depends on what you're doing with the crosses.
Well, here's the thing:
are you going to have like all of the different variations? Like if you do X 2 through 7, you can figure those out pretty easily.
Well, based on what they said, it is all of them. It's all of them that are in the reference book currently, and all of the Shoutmon forms are. I would assume it'd be something like Shoutmon and Shoutmon King will be child. Adult will be something like X2, X3, and X4.
Yeah.
X5, Omega Shoutmon, and because what is it? It's not X6, it's EX6, right? Or is there an X6? I get mixed up.
There's an X6 in the manga, but yeah.
Well, I think that's EX6.
No.
Yeah, there'll be stacking. There'll be stacking where things will be the same.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
which is fine because a lot of those are just add a sword. So
yeah,
pretty sure we'll see. Difference between
it'll be interesting to see where stuff ends up because you could do both Shoutmon and the King version as child, or you could do Shoutmon's child, Shoutmon King is adult, and then you have Omega Shoutmon as perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But there's many ways.
But what I'm saying is that
check in Wikimon. It's like there's like 25 Shoutmons.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is how far are they gonna like if you're saying it's gonna be the reference book ones that make sense. Like are they gonna do GG Shoutmon and all those?
I don't remember if he's in it. I'm gonna go check to see if he's in it. So I guess
that's sort of where.
Yeah, I think
that's sort of where the weird oddball feud, the weird oddball.
I don't think it's ones like that are oddball. I think more something like Darulumon almost feels like an oddball by himself because he doesn't really feel like child, but.
No, that's right. Yeah, Darulumon does feel very adultish. So
yeah, so it's one of those...
question of what you do with some of those. But it's like they can make those decisions now.
No, absolutely, and that's where I'm interested in seeing what they do because for crosses, he had almost for evolution type stuff, him being a child makes sense, but it also doesn't quite fit. So who did you say you wanted to see?
Well, with crosses, I think you have to get the idea down that you can have lateral crosses, that you can have two adults cross and still be an adult. You don't have to have an automatic upgrade.
I don't see GG Shoutmon in the reference book.
That does not surprise me.
Damn.
We do have Don Shoutmon for some reason.
We had what?
Don Shoutmon's in it?
Don Shoutmon?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Don Shoutmon has a reference book.
Oh, he does. Oh man,
I want him. That one's got to be in Survive now.
You mean the canceled game?
I'm not biting on that.
Hey, it could be worse. The people who are sitting there going, "What if they would announce Survive news during the live stream?" It's like, no, they're not.
No, that's not gonna.
That's 100% not happening. Although for some reason people are still tuning into the Bandai live streams at Tokyo Game Show for news when they gave the exact schedule of what games they were showing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what ends up at what level for the Cross Digimon and just to have them show up more.
Yeah. Let's just promise not to get too argumentative about what they come up with because it's just for reference ease. It's not a who's going to win in a fight.
I demand that Shoutmon X7 and Shoutmon X7 Superior Mode both be ultimates, and I will not waver from this.
I mean, they should be, but let's again. I'm not gonna.
Oh,
if they decide those are just really buff perfects, then
I very rarely get upset by levels. The only time, the last time I remember one being stupid was it Duskmon that they decided was going to be child level for the VPET?
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, it was the X. God. I think it was the X2. I believe Duskmon is child in it, and it's just like.
Does that mean all the human spirits are? Do they consider most of the human spirits child?
No. What it means
those
is
should be.
No. Do you want? Would you like the explanation?
I kind of do.
They very clearly wanted all of his forms in, and to go from 1 to 1 to 1. And the only way to do that was to have one of them be child.
So when they say all of his forms, does that include the like Kaiser and those guys? Or
here, I will pull that out and read them to you and what levels they are, and you can decide if it's appropriate or not.
It's not, but okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, child is Duskmon.
Okay.
Adult is Velgermon.
Okay.
Perfect is Kaiser Leomon.
I was afraid of that.
Ultimate. Where's the ultimate one?
Please no.
Oh, Raihimon. I always forget that one for some reason.
Yeah, it's like okay.
Yeah, and then the second level ultimates. Where is it? Ancient Sphinxmon.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's basically that because they didn't do the 3 stacked ultimates until the X3, they just had to shove one of them to child, and that just happens to be the one that they had.
Yeah, which is just silly because I remember Duskmon being a lot stronger than Kaiser Leomon.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's one of those where that's just what there was.
Yeah, but again, it's just reference. It's not a
mechanics shenanigans.
Yep, it's mechanics shenanigans.
And then we have this week's art. The post-episode art posted by Digimon Web was Metal Greymon doing Giga Destroyer. And then Kenji Watanabe, he has been on a roll with these weekly. Like, every week has just been amazing. We get Orochimon from the side, and the attached method was him commenting, Orochimon's special move is Sake Breath. I can't help wondering if that water attack contained alcohol. If you rain it down like that, everyone will get drunk. And I didn't post it, but I believe he responded to his own message commenting that he used to have Sake Breath a lot and then apologized for posting that.
Be consistent with his role in Tamers.
Yeah. And then the reference book was updated with both versions of Aizmon, as they said it would, which was nice. And then, to take advantage of the weekly post, I threw up an image just as an image test, just to see if it would work for better compression. The answer was it did not work. So, oh well. And as you guys start thinking of questions, shall we go ahead and announce what the plans for our Kizuna special is?
Sure.
So
I could use the reminder.
Yeah, so first up, it will be Saturday, October 10th at noon. Unfortunately, DevQ will not be able to make it.
Oh wait, 10th? You told me 3rd.
10th.
I don't know.
It was 100%.
Okay, that is what I had down, yes.
Yeah, it was 100% the 10th because the week of the Blu-ray release, because hopefully, since a lot of people are getting discs, we wanted to wait for them.
Yeah, you don't want to do it this week because not everyone might have discs by then.
Okay.
I might not have my disc by then.
DevQ may be there for the show. We no longer know. And then
it is a mystery.
Yeah, so we will not be doing any news. We will just be talking about the movie. The asterisk to that is if any relevant movie-related news pops up, then yes, we'll go over that quickly. And we will have guests. The first guest will be Jeff from Podigus, who has kindly been effectively on hold since the screenings were off.
Yeah, we were talking about having him on in March to discuss it.
Yeah. And then our second guest will be Onke will show up on the show.
Yay!
Which he's been translating stuff for the fandom going back to I don't want to give a year.
Savers.
I don't want to give a year because that would be guessing, but I want to say 2004.
That sounds
at least Savers.
Yeah, I'm
before than that.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was before that. I'm pretty sure that's just when people became aware of her. But I'm pretty sure it's sort of like
I've seen. I don't know when she did them, but I have seen Adventure fan subs with her name on it. So
yeah, but yeah. So that's and we'll basically talk about the movie until the 4 or 5 of us are sick of it.
Sounds fair.
Yeah. So
I'd like to hide.
Yeah, I'm working that day too.
Well, yeah.
No weekends off for Dev.
I'd like to keep it to 2 hours since I have to kick my family out, but...
Okay, and I believe Juggernaut's asked us a few episodes. Juggernaut, May is not on the podcast anymore. We expect May will pop up from time to time, but the schedule no longer really works. So no May at the moment. We do expect May will pop up from time to time, though. It's purely scheduling that I believe 7 for us is noon for May. On Tuesday, which is a work day.
They have an open invitation if they can make it work.
Yes. Yeah.
Time zones.
Yeah, the open invitation was not extended to Kizuna for the reason of we're going to have 4 or 5 people already, and that's going to get complicated.
Also, does May have access to the movie in Australia?
Japanese disc, I know May has.
Okay.
Although I believe earlier they were saying they haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
Which, yeah. And then someone sent as follow-up to a prior question, did we decide where we're going to get the movie digitally? At the moment, we only know for sure of 3 stores, which iTunes, PlayStation, and Microsoft are the only stores they've announced. If that's the lineup, iTunes, for me.
For me, it would be, I don't have an iTunes account, and if I get it on PlayStation, I think, does that mean I have to watch it on my PlayStation?
No, it works on Bravia TVs, and there are some PlayStation apps. If you have a Roku, there is a Apple TV iTunes app.
Okay. My question is because can I watch it on my laptop?
I think it can stream, but I haven't done the PlayStation video stuff in so long.
And I was kind of snooping around there, and I wasn't sure, so I'm probably going to do Microsoft.
Yeah, their store isn't bad.
It convinced me that I can watch it there, so.
Yeah.
That's gonna. I think that one's gonna win by default.
Okay, and Cootie wants to know: do we think Doraemon will be in the new adventure, considering how popular it is? Popularity doesn't always math out to if it shows up or not.
Yeah, but I mean that's one where it's sort of like Neymon. We're sort of like, let's bring him back for the heck of it.
I mean the kids.
And that's independent of the level thing.
Yeah,
like,
I mean
they
can
go into that for the series if you don't want to, but
they can beat him up again like they didn't try a few times.
That works.
Yeah.
I feel there's a pretty good chance of at least being like in the background among a group of other just random Digimon.
Oh man, how much do you not want the Royal Knights to show up as a group?
How to put it into words?
Just make a screeching noise.
Right.
Okay, and then the next question that was sent in, someone wants to know, how's DevQ liking the podcast? I think she fits in well and has been a good fit for the show. That is from their message. That's not me saying that, although I agree. Dev?
I am so tired.
Dev,
I don't even know.
Dev is regretting this already.
I'm basically just like so blitzed with exhaustion. I just kind of go through the podcast in a haze and then pass out immediately afterwards.
I think that's how May did it too, actually.
Yeah, though it was reverse in May's case. They woke up and then dragged themselves. But Dev does drag herself because I think she likes doing it as much as tired. It's at the end of a long day for all of us.
Yeah.
And
but I do agree.
It starts at 10 for me.
Ooh,
and also doing it while juggling animals.
Yeah, Mark, what are you talking about? End of a long day? Isn't it only like 7 o'clock when we start with you? That's nothing. Like, it's 9 for me, 10 for Dev. Like,
you have to remember how I do work though, which is effectively, I wake up and I decide, okay, I'm going to do work, and then I basically go nonstop until I pass out. So it's already a long day at that point.
Well, that's your problem, though.
Ramon wants to know, do any of us want to teach kids about Digimon in a classroom?
Oh, hell no.
No.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm very content just sharing it with my kid, and if my kid teaches other kids about Digimon in the classroom, then everybody wins.
I've done this basic thing in front of a group of several hundred people at a convention, and they act enough like children that I kind of don't really want to do it that much in front of, like, actual children.
I tend to I do that too. I seem to navigate it pretty well. It's generally they usually behave.
Okay. Then someone wanted to know that they said I've talked about how much 4K and HDR can add if done right. Could Last Evolution get that later since it's not getting it now? Sure, why not? I mean, it can. It's just a matter of if Toei is going to do it. The movie's done very well on home video in Japan. It gives them a reason to want to release it again, especially if they can get people to pony up for it. It's a matter of there's no guarantee, but I wouldn't be shocked if in 2 or 3 years maybe we see something, but who knows. Let's see. Oh, Dylan wants to know, do we want to take... I think we already took a stab at a number of Cross Wars levels, Dylan, but we will take Ballistamon. Ballistamon feels like it could be child or adult.
Yeah, that one's... that's another...
That's like Darulomon, where it really could be either one.
See, Darulomon does definitively feel more adultish to me.
It does.
Ballistamon, I'm not as sure.
But you also...
It kind of feels more like the Garurumon, Galgamon kind of trope going on.
See, but here's the issue with Darulomon for me. It feels like if you have him in a card game, you want him to be able to evolve to X3 or X4. And it feels like X3 and X4 would be adults.
But that's what I meant by like the idea of having lateral movement.
Yeah, but
like,
that's...
You kind of need that if you're going to... You kind of need that anyway if you're going to have... Because like you said, if you go from like X3 to X4, those will probably be the same levels.
Yeah, just give like the X3 cards like higher stats in general, so you basically still have incentive to kind of like slide evolve it.
Yeah, like you can just make him a Ballistamon. You can just make a high level child or a meh adult.
Yeah. And then someone wants to know, what is a moment that we think in a TV show or movie is basically written perfectly?
Oh God.
Dev, why don't you go first?
I'm trying to think. God.
Okay, I will go first. I will go first. I will say one word, and you will know exactly what I mean. Are you ready? Trembopoline.
What?
Homer with the trampoline, where he sees the listing and he just starts screeching about trampoline and trembopoline and just runs off and no one knows what he's talking about. And then he's just... You guys really don't remember this from The Simpsons?
Okay, you have to realize that I've said this before, that I was not allowed to watch The Simpsons.
You're an adult now, though.
I'd also point out that my Simpsons fandom was before I joined the Digimon fandom. I left the Simpsons fandom for the Digimon fandom. So, I sort of gave that up.
Okay.
I watched Dinosaurs as a child. I hit my grandmother with a frying pan screaming, "Not the mama." I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons.
Wait. I thought you said that was a joke. That actually happened?
No, Yes, I was 2 years old. My grandmother was handing me like little dishes to dry off, and I picked one up. I said, "Not the mama," and I whacked her in the head with it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't...
Especially since my mom told her I wasn't allowed to watch that show to begin with because she didn't want me picking up any bad habits. And lo and behold, she let me watch that show, and I hit her with a frying pan.
Oh, I feel bad for all the parents who don't think twice about having their babies in the room while they're watching Family Guy.
Okay, AR, after that joke, it is now your turn.
I can't really... I have trouble thinking of, all of movie and TV assembled. I always just sort of go back to the T-Rex introduction in Jurassic Park. I've been in a big Jurassic Park.
That was a good one.
Lately. Okay. That's just shot and
Dev, can we
storyboarded so
well. Can we assume that you're just going with any moment of Not the Mama?
Actually, it's going to be at the end of Tremors when they throw the dynamite behind the graboid and it goes flying out and he screams, "Can you fly, you son of a bitch?"
Ooh. Yeah.
That's a good one. And then... Okay, here's a good one. Someone asked, what are your thoughts on binging a show versus watching on a schedule? They didn't clarify if they were talking about Digimon or generically, though.
Well, it does depend on what you're watching. It definitely depends on what you're watching. Like the new reboot, I think works pretty well on a schedule.
Yeah,
I kind of like having that 1 week at a time.
My general view is both are nice, but for me, binging is more fun when it's just sitting down and watching something to enjoy it and not it just came out and I need to watch it because they put it up in this fashion.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Although I think a lot of shows nowadays are being, they are designed to be binged.
Yeah, but I think
that's a fact.
But I think it's more fun to be able to talk about them when you're talking about one episode or a handful rather than entire season thrown up at once.
Yeah, I'd be. That
sort
of
would
on
be
the
length of the season too, because some things like an entire season is like 6 episodes, and another one entire season is like technically like 26 to 50 episodes. So it depends on,
But even like the smaller batches for anime, let's say 13 episodes, it's kind of nice to be able to talk about one episode at a time rather than talking about 13.
Yeah, like I honestly think, I think, I said that some shows are made for binging. Something like Stranger Things, I feel would be really good approached episodically.
Haven't watched any of it.
Oh, yeah, it's just the way that's just thinking about that particular show, even though it's obviously a binge type of show. I think if you kind of did one episode a week, I think that'd be a really nice experience.
Yeah.
If you I tried to space it out, but me and my friend end up on my couch like at 5 a.m, the sun is rising, and like it's like, do you want to hit the next episode? It's like, yes, hit the fucking play button.
Yeah. See, I think
like you do have to resist with a show like Stranger Things for sure.
I think a good recent example of binging not being good would have been The Mandalorian. I don't know if that show would have been talked about as much if it was all of them at once.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
I think that being spread out caused the popularity because you had to consider what was actually happening in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas if you kind of binged it, it's sort of you approach the whole thing as once, and it might not be as it might not work as well.
Damn, I could have started this question by going with the answer of the podcast is more enjoyable without it being binged in one episode a month.
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
I certainly enjoy it more as the 1 hour a week.
Oh, I think it is more enjoyable. Last call for questions as we answer the last one that was sent in, and this one was sent in by Clairvoyant Nara. They want to know what were our favorite Digimon versus Digimon rivalries.
I mean,
one second. I think Dev was saying something. I think her mic's cut out.
Oh, well, I'm going to answer with Gatchmon Navimon is my favorite rivalry. It's cute, and it's innocent.
That's a cute one. Dev, were you saying something got cut out before?
No, but I did think of one. Angelmon versus Lady Devimon.
I almost said that one too. I was trying to think of one that, what's really the extra challenge with this one is trying to think of one that doesn't end up as a fusion at some point in any medium. That's a hard one. That makes it much more difficult because all of them fuse at some point.
Yeah, I've gotten distracted.
Slow burn enemies to lovers.
That's Lady Devimon and Angelmon.
I've gotten distracted from thinking about an actual answer. Now I'm trying to think if there are any rivals that didn't end up combined.
Right.
Right. Crap.
Technically, Velgmon and Garmon.
They all end up as Susanomon at the end.
Omegamon, Alphamon.
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I don't remember what my
next like $400 figure.
I don't remember. I don't remember what my actual. Oh, Omegamon, Diablomon. They don't combine.
Okay.
And that's getting a figure.
I guess that counts. Yeah, that's sort of.
That's getting a figure. I don't remember what my actual answer was going to be. I got distracted by that point.
I know. It's just someone in the chat said Leomon Ogremon, which is a classic, but they sort of all ended up in a blob as Devimon too.
Damn, I completely forgot my train of thought for the real answer.
Like once you end up with like Chaos Dramon, it's sort of like, okay, yeah, anything with a rivalry is sort of
okay, that reminded me. I was gonna say not quite rivalry, it was more Oddity, Chaos Dukemon, and was it Megadramon?
Megidramon?
Yeah, I always
that's
forget.
Out there.
I always forget that one's name. 1 sec, I'm just pulling it up. Where the idea is there may be the same Digimon.
Antithesis to each other?
Well, it's not quite rivalry. It's more the idea that they're both running around and they may in fact be the same person. Which isn't really rivalry. It just sort of came to mind because the duo theme,
One's
sort of.
One's the scaly.
Yeah. Although, Ian came up with a good one. Wormmon Kunamon.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that does kind of work because they can do it as they.
Oh, okay. Ramon has a good one. War Greymon versus Black War Greymon. Although oddly, they didn't really have a rivalry in the show.
They had one episode because they needed to.
Yes.
They had a therapy session.
That was that was an episode where it's like, well, we've got Black War Greymon in the show. We're gonna have to do this, right?
No, they had. They had to do it. And I hate this because I mean it as a joke, but it's probably right that the U.S. was still selling the War Greymon toy.
No.
Yeah.
I don't like to think about that, but it's probably true.
Well, that's why he has the shield.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't figure out what to do with the head on the toy. Yeah, so that's all we have for this one. Next week we will have the normal episode Monday and then the special that Saturday. Dev may or may not be with us. We do not know at the moment.
Which is better off than we were last. We were better off than we were at the top of the show.
Yes. AR, where can they find you?
Digimon.firstagent.net is my review site. First Agent ARP is my Twitter.
Anything coming up you want to pimp outside of your weekly episode reviews?
Well, it's two reviews this week because I will have the movie coming up on Thursday. I don't think I had anything else going on.
I have a lot going on that's very busy. AR and Dev are maybe some of the few people who know most of them.
Mostly because I don't care enough to tell anyone.
Close enough.
I forget. That's what I do.
Yeah. And DevQ, what Wikimon article would you like people to read for the week?
The absolute worst VPET to exist, the Digimon Mini Cross Wars version.
How sad.
Yep.
Was that at the bottom of the VPET vote?
Yeah. Yeah, nothing evolved. You basically just you could switch out to a different Digimon and it was terrible.
How sad. Anything you would like to pimp, Dev?
Sleep.
Dev says, get good sleep, everyone. You can find
Don't
me.
Don't be like me. Please sleep.
You can find me at WtW. There will be many things throughout the week. Many, many things. And I will be very tired by the end of the week. Especially since I have a nephew a-coming soon. Already controlling people. No. Controlling people's lives before he's born. Will be popping up in the next few days in the middle of when I have many things to do. We will catch you guys next time, hopefully when we've all had some sleep, but probably not. We will catch you guys next time. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.